I'm Nancy Fearhiley, and I'd like to take this opportunity to invite you to join Tom Snyder and myself for an ISG technology show designed especially for you, our employees. The future of ISG and its industry leadership is, in part, dependent upon the successful implementation of advanced technology into our products. Part of the job of the Advanced Technology Exploration Organization is to monitor and assess technology and communicate information about it throughout ISG. This exhibition, called the Applied Technology Exhibits, is an experiment in one possible way to communicate information. Its purpose is to provide an opportunity for ISG and MDC personnel to view, touch, and ask questions about some of the latest technologies which might be considered during the planning of future products and services. Our first product is portable computers. Now to Tom.
We're visiting with Mark Ewers of Hewlett-Packard. Mark, I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about the philosophy and the function of the touchscreen interface technology.
Well, Tom, what we've done is we've integrated the mouse, the keyboard, and the touchscreen into a personal computer which is very easy and friendly to use. The Personal Applications Manager, which we see here, actually goes out to the disks on the PC, looks for the applications on there, and presents them to you so that with the touch of a finger, you can select Lotus or your other favorite application and run it with just the touch of a finger. We've also implemented the same touchscreen, the same Personal Applications Manager on our portable computer.
Tell us a little bit more about the portable computer that you have here.
Well, the portable is an ideal machine for a mobile professional, someone who finds himself in airplanes or in hotel rooms quite a bit and has a need to access his office PC for its Lotus spreadsheets or word processing notes from time to time when he really can't get to them.
Mark, would you tell us about what compatibility there might be between this portable computer and the standard desktop computers that we have around the company?
Well, that's a good question. The portable is actually very compatible. We can interface this directly to your PC and let it access the PC's disk drives just as if it was a disk drive on the portable. Therefore, all of your data files on the PC become accessible by the portable.
Thanks, Mark. Now let's join Nancy, who's visiting over at the McDonnell Douglas Computer Systems Company M1000 Intelligent Workstation.
Can you tell me a little bit about the system that you have set up here today?
Well, sure can. What you see here is a desktop computer system which we sell to the various component companies. Here to my immediate left is a color monitor with dual columns on the screen for our word processing package. The system itself is based around an Intel 80186 16-bit CPU. That makes it roughly 2 to 3 times faster than competitive systems that you see inside the Information Systems Group. It has a color monitor with a bitmap graphics capability. Next to that, we have the hard disk, 5¼ inch slimline. Next to that, we have a very interesting technology in the voice area for telemarketing. It's called a telephone processor, and it utilizes the handset to record analog voice and digitize it for later use. Next to that, on a local area network, we've attached an intelligent workstation. The system is expandable, as I just said, with a local area network.
If an individual would like more information about your system, where can it be obtained?
They can come directly to McDonnell Douglas Computer Systems Company here in St. Louis through myself or my organization, or out to our corporate headquarters in Newport Beach.
This has been Jim Cook with McDonnell Douglas Computer Systems Company. Tom?
We're visiting with Larry Grady of Microcard Technologies. Microcard. Larry, it looks like a credit card. How is it different?
Well, Tom, it really is a credit card, but it's been added or increased by having a microcomputer embedded in it. It's a portable data carrier, really is what it is, that a customer can carry around with him with information about him, intelligently stored in his microcomputer, and be protected electronically. Let me show you in this terminal what it can do.
All right.
The card we have here is a medical card, and it contains information about a patient, about his dependents. Such information as what drugs have been prescribed, what drugs he's taking, and a brief medical history, as well as eligibility for medical services. And as you can see now, we're displaying all this information about this particular patient, his blood type, the medication that he's taking, any special conditions that he has. So at the time he goes to a physician for services, it has a brief medical history as well as authorization for those services stored securely in his card. The card can be updated by the physician for new medication or new services that are provided.
Where are these in use now?
Well, they're being used extensively in Europe presently. They're being used in payment applications, they're being used in paid telephones, they're being used for medical applications very similar to this. The applications are being expanded to the U.S. We expect to have some pilots starting in the middle of this year. As a matter of fact, we're doing a pilot test with Mastercard in Washington, D.C. starting in July or August to test the capabilities in a payment system in the United States.
That's exciting, to be able to carry that much information in your wallet.
Well, if you could step over here for a minute, Tom, let me show you what the Mastercard Test will be doing. We'll be using point-of-sale terminals, very similar to what you see here, and we'll be recording data right in the card. So now a customer can take his card to a bank or even to an ATM, insert it into a reader, and by indexing his personal identification number that protects the card, they can actually display and list the transactions that have been performed in this card. It becomes, if you will, an electronic checkbook to be able to record and authorize transactions. You'll see the information that's being displayed here, such as his name, and now an electronic record of all the transactions he has made, a certification number proving they were done with his card, and a monthly credit limit, his status against that monthly credit limit. So now we start to attack some of the problems in credit cards today, not only fraud, but also bad debts.
A microcomputer with memory for you to carry in your pocket. Thanks, Larry. Nancy's over at Isolation Systems. Let's join her there.
I'm here with Gordon Hale from Isolation Systems Incorporated. Gordon, what can your Enigma microcomputer security products do for ISG?
In today's world of mass communications between microcomputers and microcomputers to host systems in the office environment, we're finding that ever increasingly sensitive corporate and personal data is being resident in the microcomputer and is being communicated over public networks between microcomputers and back to hosts. Isolation Systems specializes in the protection of this data, the management and audit controls, and the transparency to the user using sophisticated cryptography techniques.
You use the word cryptography. Can you explain to me a little bit further what cryptography is?
Yes, let me give you an example. The value of data is what we are trying to protect, its processes and its value to intruders. Cryptography takes usable, valuable, plain text data and through encryption keys and encryption algorithms renders the data useless to intruders into ciphertext. It is retrievable by valid users and the appropriate encryption keys back into valuable, usable, plain text data.
Thank you, Gordon. Now, back to Tom.
Now we're visiting with Bruce Hutchins. Bruce is working in the area of speech recognition and response technology. Bruce, I wonder if you'd tell us in layman's terms like I can understand just exactly what is speech recognition.
Well, I'll certainly try, Tom. Speech recognition is essentially where you speak into a microphone and the computer understands what you said and then it controls the computer process based on that application. I hope that was layman terms.
That sure helps. Do you have an example of what voice recognition can do today?
Yes, I certainly do. I have an application and a vocabulary that I have established that runs a program on this computer called Lotus 123. Shall I demonstrate that?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
It also has the standard charts and pie chart and we can modify anything else.
Now, an important part of this particular demonstration is that the application itself did not have to be modified in order for me to use voice recognition control of it. Let me start. Return. Continue. Menu. File. Retrieve. Return. Now, Tom, this is a spreadsheet of data from the Diebold Group, their consulting firm, on the marketing projections for speech technology products throughout the end of the year, or throughout the end of the decade. Now, while I'm in the spreadsheet, I can change the data in any one of the cells simply by speaking into the microphone. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, return. And if you notice, I changed that value, and it changed the entire spreadsheet. Now at that point, it might be interesting to take a look at what a bar graph of this data would look like, and I can do that by simply saying graph. Here's that data from that spreadsheet.
All responding to your voice.
That's right. This data is in billions of dollars, and in 1990 it indicates that the speech technology market will be a $2.5 billion business.
Right.
Escape. Now I do have another graph that I can show you that shows by industry sector the speech market. Let me try that one. Menu. Create a graph. Left, left, return, return, right, return. Now there's some operations in this Lotus application that I don't have in the speech vocabulary, but bear in mind this vocabulary could be customized to any individual user. Escape, quit, menu, quit, quit, yes, exit, yes.
Bruce, I wonder if you tell us what is voice response technology?
Gladly, Tom. Voice response technology is sort of like the inverse of voice recognition technology. Voice response is where the computer actually talks back to the human in something that he can understand, and that's English. Now, there are about two types of synthesis that are common today. One is where you talk through a microphone and digitize your voice, and then this plays back to you. Now, the disadvantage here is that it's a limited vocabulary and requires storage on your computer. The second type that I will demonstrate is a text-to-speech synthesizer, where you simply give it character information and it says it. So,
can you give us an example of that?
Certainly.
All right.
I am Bruce Hutchins of the McDonnell Douglas Information Systems Group, ATE organization. This equipment is part of my speech lab. My voice was previously digitized on the TI computer and is now being converted from the digital voice prints stored in the computer's memory to human speech using the TI speech analysis method. This technique can be used when the amount of speech output is limited. If unlimited speech output is needed, you should consider a text-to-speech synthesizer similar to the desktop in the next segment of this demonstration.
Hi there. Now that Bruce has had his say, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Paul, and I am one of the 7 programmed voices in the desktop text-to-speech synthesizer. The main advantage of this device is that text data from the computer is directly converted to speech without any requirement for voice print storage in the host computer. To add to Paul's comment, the text-to-speech conversion process is also called synthesis by rule. The text-to-speech and the digitized voice print synthesizers are useful companions to the voice recognition systems and can be used in applications today. Goodbye from all of us in the DECTalk family.
Thanks, Bruce. Now let's go to Nancy.
Steve Thebe is here to talk to us about ProKit Analyst. Steve, can you describe this product for us?
Yes, ProKit Analyst is an integrated graphics and data dictionary tool which supports the interactive capture and maintenance of and access to a software systems information base. It is primarily targeted to application designers and system software designers.
How did you determine what functions this product should have?
Basically, we asked 4 fundamental questions. First question was, what decisions are made during the analysis and design phases of an information system project? Second question dealt with when is this information collected and how can we best make it available to participants of a project throughout project lifecycle. Third question was what facts need to be collected in order to make those decisions rationally. And finally, when should these facts be collected?
What components make up the product?
There's basically 2 components that make up ProKit Analyst. Number 1 is an interactive graphics editor, and the second component is a project information dictionary.
Steve, what are the product's major features?
The product's major features, there are basically 5 features. The first feature is the interactive capture of objects, data flows, data structures, processes, and external entities that are used during the logical modeling of an information system. And the second feature is the synchronization of capturing that on the graphic surface and then putting that same information into a project dictionary. Another product feature is the capability for very, very precise integrity checking across all the models that are put into the product. Horizontal and vertical process balancing, the network integrity rules for data flow diagrams.
Thank you, Steve. Back to you, Tom.
We're here visiting with Doug Engelbart, and we're here to learn about knowledge augmenting concepts. Doug, we're really pleased you could be here today.
Thank you.
Would you tell us, please, what knowledge augmenting concepts is?
Well, knowledge augmenting is a general term for trying to help people work with heavy knowledge work, like designing or planning or drafting a big document. And there are a lot of concepts around about how you actually can do more than just automating your writing. So the augmenting means tools, new methods, new ways of thinking in a balanced way.
Is it possible for more than one person to work with this knowledge augmenting system?
Yeah, this turns out to be one of the basic types of help you can get that, for the most part, the people who are bringing computers into the office place have neglected. So it's a good one to show and talk about. But yes, there are very definite things you can do to help people collaborate even when they're at a distance.
Can you show us an example of that?
Yeah. We were lucky here to get set up that I'm sitting here and a keyboard and a computer that's tied through a network to a mainframe, and I'm looking at a document on the screen, and that document can be edited and changed. But as a matter of fact, this view on this screen is the one being generated by my colleague David Potter, and I just have it connected, so I am seeing what he has on his screen.
Where is David located?
Dave, where are you located?
I'm in Princeton, New Jersey.
Princeton, New Jersey. So he could be any place within reach of the TimeNet that we're using, and Princeton is a reasonably good example. So this is what he sees in his screen, and we could do things together as though we were collaborating, and I could say, well, Dave, you know, I think that in the first paragraph that word operating ought to be thrown out, that GEM is a system. Would you mind deleting that for me, that word operating? So you can see that he is forming the command, selecting the word, and it then gets deleted. And he's doing that as part of our dialogue. And Dave, what I'd like you to do next is, why don't we just isolate that paragraph? So just jump to this first paragraph. Oh, he's making it complete to say, grammatically correct to say GEM is a system. And now he's isolated that paragraph so we can just better attend to it. And I could ask him, well, why don't you break off after the first sentence, machines, and put the rest of it underneath it for a minute while we contemplate what we want to do. So would you do that now, Dave? So now we have the rest of that paragraph is isolated, and we could start rearranging it by itself and then reappend it. So Dave, what I'd like to do is throw away the sentence that says due for shipment. So would you please just delete that intermediate sentence that's due for shipment? So go ahead, Dave, and do that. Well, you know, I like that better, so why don't you reappend that back there, and we have a whole paragraph now. And I think that's what we'd like to put into our draft document, see? Okay, go ahead, Dave, and do that. Is that enough? Well, so what we did there is an example of working together, and actually Dave could be using almost any kind of database system or something he wanted to, and I could have been sharing it. And he could even be doing something that I didn't even know how to run or have access to, and I could come in and he could be showing me. or I could come in as his supervisor to check and work with him to do it, or a specialist to compare. So that was very well done, Dave. Thank you very much, and I hope you're learning from what we're saying.
Oh, yeah.
But then in general, there are other aspects of how people can collaborate too, and the architecture of the way all the system is put together to enable you to reach into many other kinds of services or data are part of the principles and concepts, and the skills with which you can operate it, and having a command language that can just be extended to ever larger vocabulary. All those are part of the principles that we've built in.
That's really neat, Dave. Would you tell me, please, you're very well known for inventing mouse technology. What part does that play in this product that we're looking at today?
Oh, it's just merely the device that, among those we tested and many years ago, to help us select objects off a screen as we're trying to do our work. And in the early 60s, we wanted to find the best way to do that. So we lined up the best available tools, like a light pen and a joystick. And I'd remembered some ideas I'd had about something like this, so I sketched them up and we built one of those and introduced that device in the tests, and it just came out the winner. So since then we've been using it and trying to tell the world about it, and it took a few years. But what's interesting for us is that of all of the things that we innovated within this whole system, that's the one that sort of escaped to the world and gave us some notoriety.
Yeah.
And it's really a relatively small corner of the whole thing.
It seems like the product that you have here is capable of helping a lot of people take a lot of ideas and bring them together and work together for greater productivity. And I can see that happening a lot here at ISG.
Well, as a matter of fact, strategically, that's why these particular things were developed. Of all the things we could do to help, those that help people work together seem to be the most payoff, because as this thing gets being introduced, there's so many ways in which it can help. And what you have to do is find the people involved have to be able to work together in order to do it. So that was the first thing to augment, as we said.
Doug, thanks very much for sharing some of your ideas with us today. And thanks, too, for your friend Potter out in Princeton.
Yeah, thank you, Dave.
You're very welcome.
Nancy?
One of the employees of the Advanced Technology Exploration Group is Laura Logston. Laura, can you tell us something about the study that you've been doing on project management systems?
Sure. We've reviewed 91 packages, and of the 91, we selected 15 candidates. We've gathered input from the people that were interested in the packages on their requirements, and we soon became apparent to us that there were 3 levels of products available: a very low basic type of scheduler, an intermediate with a little bit more sophistication, and then a high-level professional scheduling type of system. And we have those systems available to show today. One of the high-level professional scheduling systems is MSCS Micro, which Pete Passanisi can tell you about.
Hi, Pete.
Hi.
What can you tell me about the product you have here?
Well, as Laura said, we really feel that our system is a high-level system. And what it allows you to do is, I think one of the things that really distinguish it from other products is that you can do a multi-project scheduling. That's normally when you're trying to schedule many projects with a fixed amount of resources, and you're basically trying to phase these projects through your department. MSCS will allow you to assign priorities to these projects. So if there is a resource limitation, it will then assign the resources to the project that you have assigned the highest priority. And there really aren't any other systems on the market that will give you this type of sophistication.
Thank you, Pete.
Thank you.
For my colleague, Tom Snyder, and myself, good day.